She was more thinking how to get rid of the irritation of
I kept wondering if I should wear my coat. And they said,
face fats into the rest of the crowd.
Next week I'm moving at the center. Whatever you can feel. Oh, she is.
Get nervous, don't you, honey?
Hi. How are you?
sit up for a little bit.
That was learning. I need to break my candlelight.
What are you doing?
Save your hand. No.
Did you get one?
Okay. Actually, I'll let you in on a secret. It's smaller cups. What kind of confidence?
Candles and cup.
I'd like a couple of these.
Frank, we need tape over here. What? I need tape.
Really think
Anybody here needs a candle or a cup, they're by donation. We're not charging for them, although we would like donations. But we would rather that you have one than that you don't.
Thank you.
Just cups.
2 or 3.
I'll tell you what, if you give us the 3 cups, I'll donate the rest of these candles to you.
That's a deal.
Okay, take your candle. This is my version of a wax catcher. I think I'm going to keep 3 of these just in case.
No. Are you?
Yes, I want to organize everybody here to know.
Right here, girl.
I got thank you. That was very old. Yeah. So I. Hey, Randy. You want to take it back over that?
Yes.
So I want to get one.
Okay.
Why would I take it in front of the barriers?
Yeah, let's put it right front and we'll pull the barriers out.
Yeah.
They did end up breaking it.
They just want to pick this.
He said, why don't we take it through the barriers?
That's her.
It's hard to keep going, isn't it?
Sure.
With the mother.
How's it going yet?
Where we want to pass?
Oh.
We're having problems on that.
It went out again.
Yeah.
Wait a bit. You can do it. Can I walk along with you? Sure.
We'll need at least two. Yeah, two people. Hi, Joe. Sir, you're gonna have to move yourself to stay.
Okay. Dean. Dean. Where you at this one? Here.
Off the stage, Perky. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah, so I was just wondering where you were. Move over.
My name is Tim Wolfred. I'm director of the San Francisco AIDS Foundation, and I am honored this evening to have been asked by People with AIDS and ARC of San Francisco to be MC tonight for this very special event and ritual in our community. As we gather here tonight, it's with a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, and they get very mixed up at times. For me, many men that we have held in our arms as they struggled with pain and death and joy and transition as we comforted them. We're here to honor our community, those people living with AIDS, who are struggling to fight the disease, who are fighting for their lives, fighting for all of us. We're here to honor those carrying the virus and carrying the fight against that virus. And we're here for our entire community, to honor the strength and generosity and love and vision with which our community has responded to this horrendous epidemic. Tonight is a ritual of grieving, in part, for the entire Bay Area community. We gather to grieve and mourn and commemorate, and thereby cleanse ourselves, strengthen ourselves, and heal ourselves for the continuing fight that is ahead of us. And as I personally get into my sorrow for what has happened to my friends, to my community, I very quickly get in touch with my rage. And I think it's important that we also tonight be very clearly in touch with our rage as individuals and a community. Rage at the virus that has killed so many people that we love. Rage at our governments, state and federal governments, that have done so little to attack this epidemic. The men I know who have died, men like Bill Krause, Bill Hartman, Mark Feldman, Paul Day, they would be honored and very pleased by our rage and by moving our anger into action, by empowering ourselves with our anger to brush aside the homophobes, the racists, the LaRouches, and getting to the Reagans and the other leaders of our government and telling Ronald Reagan to stop his little wars on people and take his billions out of bombs and put it into the fight against AIDS and the AIDS virus. So we are here tonight for all those purposes, and we have a lot of friends and healers and musicians and singers who are going to move us through our rituals tonight. And first, I've been asked to make some announcements before we move into that. Appropriate moment to leave your candle at the Lincoln Memorial, as we have done so many other times in our rituals in our community. And the film crew has asked me to ask Bob Runyon to meet them also at the Lincoln statue. We are first going to have a letter read to us by Russ Yorks.
Good evening, everyone. To the citizens of San Francisco at the AIDS Candlelight Memorial, hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world are gathered tonight to remember friends and loved ones who have died from AIDS. We also remember the people with AIDS and AIDS-related conditions who continue to fight both the virus and the epidemic. The tragedy of AIDS is monumental. By mid-May, the number of AIDS cases in this city surpassed 2,000. The total number of severely ill ARC patients may soon equal the number of AIDS patients in need of services. Education and continued vigilance are absolutely the most effective at preventing the spread of this disease, and everyone must protect himself and protect others. The HTLV virus does not discriminate between good intentions and bad. San Francisco has demonstrated courage, compassion, and wisdom in the face of this most horrible epidemic. The countless hours of volunteer labor, the persistence of researchers, the dedication of nurses and physicians, and the leadership of the city's gay community are without parallel. We have created the international model for responding to the crisis of AIDS. Sadly, though, it has not been enough. The disease continues to spread. No corner of this city has remained free of its pain and sorrow. I urge everyone to redouble his efforts to prevent the spread of this disease. For the city's 1986-87 budget, I am recommending expenditures of $10.5 million for AIDS care, an increase of $1.7 million. This includes funding for the new expanded AIDS ward that opened in April. I have asked for an additional $1 million beyond the health department's request for home care and hospice services, because I believe it will be necessary to humanely and medically meet this emergency. Let us continue to stand together. Let us find the boundaries with which AIDS can be contained. Let us rededicate ourselves to healthy lives. Warm personal regrets.
Two more announcements. We'd like the money collectors, the people who are going to be doing the
Where's Diane?
Where else in Presidio terrorists?
We would like the money collectors to join us at the stage right now for the fundraising, which will proceed in a bit. And secondly, there are still people coming in with the march, and if people can give them space or move off to your right, there's a lot of space very close here to the stage on Polk Street. We'd like to shift the whole crowd that direction as much as possible. We are now going to have the invocation for the evening by three persons: Rabbi Robert Kirshner, the Reverend Connie Hartquist, and Father Michael Lopes.
I'm Connie Hartquist, and I coordinate the Episcopal Chaplaincy at San Francisco General Hospital. This morning, one of our assistant chaplains, who is a layperson with a ministry to the AIDS unit at General, came into my office and he was in tears. He had just been looking at the Book of Remembrance on the AIDS unit, and this is a book of all the persons with AIDS who have been on the unit and who have died. This person was shocked and he was distraught to see all at once the number of his friends who had died. And he said through his tears, "So many friends, Connie, and simply continues with our prayer and our work here this evening. And our work is to mourn our dead, to share our tears and our rage, to hold one another, and to get on with our loving of each other, to get on with our struggle, to get on with our God-given lives. That is our hope and our prayer."
I too have an anecdote to share. I leaned down closer and closer. There were two syllables and I finally made them out. And they were, "It hurts." And there are many here who could finish that sentence if that was not the whole sentence for him. It hurts to be sick. It hurts to die. But maybe it hurts even more to be unloved, unwanted, unlamented. Judaism teaches in our Torah that we are to love God with all our hearts, with all our souls, and with all our might. And our rabbis asked, how do we do this? And their answer was to love each other, to reach out to each other. Let our leaders hear this message, our leaders in our own community and throughout the country and the world, this message that goes forth from San Francisco, that if we do not see the affliction of our brother,
protect us from burnout. Keep our hearts open to the needs of those whom we serve. Blessed are you, Lord of a living hope. We pray for a cure for AIDS and art. Enlighten the imaginations of researchers to find a cure. Enlighten legislators to form wise public policy. Blessed are you, Lord of a living hope.
Our first speaker is Dean Sandmeyer, co-chair of People with AIDS San Francisco, the organization that put this event together tonight. Dean Sandmeyer.
Sorry about that. Tonight I was asked to tell you what People with AIDS San Francisco is. The organization of People with AIDS and People with AIDS-related complex was first founded in 1983 we joined together in sharing research and medical information. And we also have a PWA hotline at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. But most of all, to help in the decision making so we can have a better life. In the next few months, we will be starting a group called Friends of People with AIDS and People with AIDS-related conflicts. We hope you, the community that is here today, come join us in that effort. At this time, I also want to make a few thank yous to people who have helped.
San Francisco chapter of Mobilization Against AIDS worked very hard in the local event. I want to thank the co-chairs of that, Frank Richter. National action moved over to Europe. We're in Berlin and in Paris and in Amsterdam and in Oslo. People rallied in support of people with AIDS. In a town called Tromsø, Norway, it's so far to the north, they can't do a candlelight memorial because the sun never sets this time of year in Tromsø. It's the second most northern city in the world. They held a memorial there. And then it came across to the United States, where in Boston, people went from the Commons down to the Bay. In Atlanta, they rallied at the Academy of Science, and in Washington and New York, they marched. And also in New Orleans, people went from the Catholic Cathedral down to the Mississippi River, and they marched in through Minneapolis, they marched in Detroit, they marched in Chicago. It went through the Midwest, through Ohio, it went through the southern states, it went through Casper, Wyoming, through Phoenix, Arizona, Albuquerque, Houston, Texas, Seattle, Oregon, Vancouver, and even in Lynchburg, Virginia, there was a candlelight memorial in support of people with AIDS. When we finish here, there will still be a candlelight memorial to occur in Honolulu, Hawaii, and in Alaska. What this means, I think, is that when we're under attack by a government that's willing to let our people, and why we're under attack by lunatics like Lyndon LaRouche, we have to understand that all around the world people care, and that they're willing to show their compassion, they're willing to show their concern, and they're willing to show that we are not alone here fighting a battle that began in San Francisco. In terms of the candlelight memorials, this action, which was in response, began here, was a San Francisco vision 3 years ago. But in fact, it's now expanded. And that's perhaps our contribution to the nation, to be able to put forward candlelight marches around the world. And hopefully, as Dean says, next year we won't have to do so. Thank you very much for being here.
Very beautiful. It's funny, I think that's what we've always been, isn't it? In the face of ugliness, we've been beautiful. In the face of violence, we've been gentle. In the face of darkness now, with our candles, we represent light. Each year, as this tragedy grows darker, our candles grow brighter. These candles will not be extinguished. Today's Memorial Day, but I'm reminded of another holiday which is just 4 weeks away, Independence Day. And I'm reminded of the statue which stands in New York Harbor and what's inscribed on that statue. This year it's its centennial. It says, "Give me your tired, give me your poor, give me your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, and I will build a nation." We're huddled, America. We're tired, America. This is Memorial Day, a day set aside for honoring fallen heroes, whose names we do not know in many cases. They died representing values which are the real America, values of honesty and compassion and truth. And those values today are under attack by people like Jerry Falwell, who likes to record people's names who carry the HTLV3 virus. People like Lyndon LaRouche, who would put us into concentration camps. Is anyone here going to give Jerry Falwell their name? No! Is anyone going to let William F. Buckley tattoo them? No! Is anyone going to be rounded up in the dark of night by Lyndon LaRouche to be hauled off to a camp? No! We're here today to honor our little heroes, our unknown heroes, 1,100 gentle San Franciscans who have fallen to this tragedy, who themselves have put on this event. They're our heroes, tirelessly and selflessly. They put on this event for the benefit of us and our community. Their contribution has been enormous, and I've been asked today to ask you to contribute to help this event tomorrow morning in a tiny office of Mobilization Against AIDS. The planning for next year's memorial will begin. Contributions are necessary. There's a deficit already on this event. If anyone here would like to write a check to the Mobilization Against AIDS or People with AIDS San Francisco, you may do so and hold it up. People will be around to pick it up in a minute. If there is anyone here who has a $20 bill who would like to contribute to this event, hold it up. Hold it up. Someone will come and pick it up. If you can afford to contribute $10, hold it up, please. $5. If anyone can contribute $5, please hold it up. Someone will collect it. If anyone can contribute $1, please hold it up. Someone will collect it. For the 1,100 San Franciscans who have fallen to this disease, take out $1, hold it up. For the people who have been chained across this plaza for the last 7 months, chained to the federal building, to bring to the attention what's been occurring in Washington, D.C., take out $1, hold it up, hold it up. And for those people who, rather than suffer the ravages of chemotherapy and experimental drugs, hold it up, and please wait for the people who come around, for the 2 million Americans who have been infected with the deadliest virus known this century. Take out $1 and hold it up. Thank you.
4 speakers. They are men from our community with AIDS or with art. The first speaker will be Richard Rector.
And in honoring these men and women, let us now add each and every one of them to the roll call of those who are truly great. For in their suffering, they have been the unsung heroes and heroines. They have given us, those of us alive with AIDS and AIDS-related conditions, the courage to fight and the strength to survive. And we must continue to be dedicated to the unfinished work that they have thus far so nobly advanced. Surely it would be no exaggeration to say that when the chronicles of our communities are written, that there will be no brighter page than that which relates to their fighting for their lives. We have lost so many, and many of us have been personally touched by someone we loved, admired, and cared for. We must continue to keep their spirits alive in our hearts, for with their spirits within us, they too are very much alive. We must also acknowledge the other noble achievements which reflects honor in those who continue to provide services and to support with people with AIDS and AIDS-related condition. They too are entitled to the warmest thanks and the richest rewards that we can pay. And I ask that you join me in acknowledging and commending them for their finest efforts. We are also here tonight to show our support for the living. Across the world, people with AIDS and AIDS-related condition continue to face discrimination in employment, in housing, in care, in treatment, in services, and in living. But we as people with AIDS and AIDS-related condition continue to live with dignity, and we continue to have hope. We have the hope of living, the hope of surviving, the hope of securing our futures, and the hope of a cure. And we must have the hope of justice. In recent days, it has become more apparent that there are those who wish to take away our freedom and our dignity. There is talk of separating us from our lovers, our peers, and our communities, and using us as scapegoats and blaming us for the AIDS epidemic. Well, let me assure you, my friends, that we as people with AIDS and AIDS-related conditions will never give up the fight for our lives, nor for the fight for our liberties, no matter at what cost. And we call upon you to stand with us and to support us in ensuring the quality of our lives and in securing our futures. We must continue our struggle on the high plane of dignity and hope. For with dignity, we can stand tall, proud, and united. And for with hope, we not only will survive, but will secure our future. Thank you.
We are your sons, daughters next door. Having AIDS does not have to signal the end. I look at AIDS as a new beginning, a new road taken, not by chance, or not by choice, but by chance. It has been an opportunity to make new friends, explore new experiences, and to meet new challenges. It has been a chance to help others and a chance to be helped by others. My family and my lover have stood by me through my illness. I have not lost any friends, a job, or housing. I don't have a penny, but I consider myself a rich man. But not everybody is so lucky. AIDS has left many feeling alone, ill, and most of all, persecuted. It is they who deserve your support here tonight. Memorial Day is a time to honor our dead, but let's do it by helping the living and dedicate ourselves to the unfinished work of finding a cure so that no more people have to die in vain. The greatness of any nation or people is not judged by how rich or powerful they are, Their greatness is judged by how well they care for their poor, their hungry, and their sick. A test that must not be failed. Finally, let me say that if there is one person out there who can reverse the course of AIDS within themselves, and there is, I can assure you, then we all can reverse AIDS within us. The healing begins when you love yourself. Thank you.
Next is Andrew Small.
Thank you. 3 years ago, on this very day, I lost my first friend to AIDS. Since that day, there have been many others. Yet every Memorial Day, I pause and think well of Scott. I wish him well in his journey, and can only hope that he wishes me well in mine. We, you and I, have had a long and arduous journey these past years. We have seen homophobia increase. We have known attacks on our civil rights as lesbians and gay men. And we have felt the loss of our friends, lovers, and families. Yet despite homophobia, despite attacks on our human rights, and despite the great losses in life that we have suffered, I hope that you, as well as I, can say to all those who oppose us, we will survive. I consider myself very lucky to live in San Francisco. Without negating any of the very real concerns which exist here, and without denying any of the problems under which we suffer, nonetheless, San Francisco has become a role model for the rest of the world. The people of San Francisco have embraced the community of the people with AIDS. You have given of your time, energy, and money so that we, as people with AIDS, that we, as lesbians and gay men, that we, as San Franciscans, will survive. I am also proud to be a San Franciscan. We have a proud tradition in San Francisco of surviving tragedy and becoming stronger. In just a few short years, you have changed the face of San Francisco. You have met the challenge of AIDS with courage and with love. And your courage and your love nurtures us, comforts us, and makes us stronger. But we are isolated in many ways here in San Francisco. And the rest of the world frightens me greatly. Outside of San Francisco, people with AIDS are hated and despised. States as to the truth about AIDS. For today, the only vaccine we have against AIDS is education. And the only cure we will have for AIDS will come when the Reagan administration learns that it is their responsibility to save lives and not threaten the world with nuclear destruction. And if we cannot educate those who hate us, they must be. We must stop Lyndon LaRouche's threat of concentration camps. And I say tonight to President Reagan, and I say to Lyndon LaRouche, and I say to every homophobic bigot in this country, that despite your fears, and despite your hysteria, and despite your homophobia, I will survive. It was held.
It was a say of self I didn't know were there. An advocate and an activist. I have been touched daily, as many of us have, by the pain, anger, and grief of this epidemic. I treasure the lessons that I have learned from my friends and loved ones who have died from AIDS. Time and again, I have been moved by their quiet dignity. I have also learned from them what it really means to live. Through love, I have discovered the miracles in my life, the beauty of nature, the warm glow of a smile, the joy of laughter, the specialness of a friendship. I have discovered that there are many opportunities in life in spite of the pain and the suffering that we face. The media, our friends, the media. You're mostly good guys here in the city, I want you to know that. The media has the opportunity to build, traveling together through new and uncharted territories. And one day, the history books of the world will write about our journeys together through this epidemic. Each of us, each of you, has the opportunity to fully develop your potential. Thank you.
We love you, buddy!
The man who has been with us.
For our friends, family members, and lovers who are now diagnosed. We open ourselves to the grief that we feel from prejudice and ignorance of our own. Memorial Day is a day to once again open to those who are no longer living in a physical body, who have loved us and been loved by us, and what may be. We invite you to say aloud and share with us if it seems more appropriate to say just a first name, then honor that feeling. After each name or cluster of names years ago, after which I ask you to say the names of those you wish to add. The response again as we open our hearts. Bobby Campbell, we open our hearts. Gary Walsh, we open our hearts. Bobby Reynolds, we open our hearts. Paul Castro, we open our hearts.
William Calderon.
We open our hearts.
Bill Cross.
John Sim.
Jeff Paul. Tony. Bill. Jack.
Peter.
Frank.
Sebastian.
Bob.
hearts of all. Say your name with me aloud. We open our hearts. Allow yourself now to support and be supported by those around you. It's a cold night, so get a little closer with each other. Reach out and touch, hold and comfort one another. We recognize in this moment that healing is not an end result, but an awareness in each moment that we are whole and not alone. We love you.
I'm so glad we're human.
Take the plastic cups off, because they'll catch on fire. Paper this if you can, too. Just really beautiful.
We need more trash bags, honey.
Smelling your upper lip.
All right.
Sidewalk, please. Please, if you can, try and take the plastic off your candle so it won't catch on. Take it.
down there.
If your candle's got a plastic top or a paper top, try and take it off so it won't catch on fire, okay? We've got thousands of candles up here. Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
You all look really beautiful from up here, by the way. It's really neat. You all look great.
Excuse us.
Sorry. Okay. We're trying to put the candles over here. Okay, it's really hard. Be careful. Just blow them out and stack them in. Yeah, just put it with all the others. Great. Great.